This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, ho there. Chef Carter W. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, April 18th, E-I-E-I-O, almost 80 years ago, something big happened. E-I-E-I-O, the Toronto Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup, despite being down 3-9 and not 3-1, as most people think. What an upset. Detroit thought they had the cup, but then the Leafs somehow pulled it off. The Leafs just won the Stanley Cup this day in 1942. That's right. The 1942 Stanley Cup Finals were decided on this day, April 18th, almost 80 years ago, well, 1942. So it was a battle royale. Toronto will face the New York Rangers in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now, in this original six season, actually, it was not technically original six because there was still a 7th, the Brooklyn Americans. But anyway, Toronto would face the New York Rangers, the winner of the matchup between the 1 and 2 seeds. If I'm correct, I might be wrong here because I'm not too sure. Okay, here we go. So the playoff format at that time was that the 1 seed would take on the 2 seed, and the winner would go to the Stanley Cup Finals. The loser wouldn't even get another chance to qualify. So it was 3 versus 4 and 5 versus 6, which is kind of stupid, don't you think? Because logically it should be 3 versus 6 or 4 versus 5. But it was a weird format at that time. The Rangers and Leafs would play. The Rangers, yeah. In a normal year, then you'll have one quarterfinalist play Toronto and one quarterfinalist play New York and make it semifinals. And have the Rangers Leafs final in 42, but no, that didn't happen. Boston won a best-of-3 series against Chicago, and Detroit did the same on Montreal. Then the Leafs beat the Rangers in 6 games in the semifinals, and Detroit won best-of-3 against the Bruins. So that brought the Leafs and the Red Wings up against each other. So kind of weird, don't you think? So anyway, yeah. Toronto and Detroit had a good 7-game series. The first game was in Toronto, and Detroit got a pair of goals by Don Grosso, making it 3-2. Detroit would win 4-2, and Don Grosso again scored 2 goals for the Red Wings. And then Grosso scored again for the Red Wings in Game 3. And again, so Don Grosso freaking had 6 goals in the Stanley Cup Finals in the first 3 games. No, sorry, 5. Sorry. No, 6. Man, Don Grosso. Goldie Grosso. But that's for Italy, World Cup in 2006. But anyhow. The Red Wings won 5-2, and it was not pretty. And all that. There was a good chance that the Leafs were going to go home in Detroit being swept. An urban legend says that a 14-year-old fan's letter reached Toronto coach Half Day, and he basically read it out. And basically the team said, "We will not let this girl down." In Game 4, the Leafs won 4-3. Surprisingly, Half Day did not use Gordy Drillin or Buckle McDonald, 2 pretty good players for the Leafs that time, replacing them with Don Metz and Hank Goldup. The Red Wings were up 2-0 on goals by Mike Budentrow, remember him, and Sid Abel. But the Leafs scored goals by Bob Davidson and Lauren Carr to tie the game at 2. Carl Linscomb scored to make it 3-2 Red Wings, but the Leafs put up 2 goals. Still absent Nick Metz, Don Metz's brother, made it 4-3, game over, and the Leafs survived. However, there was a problem. A Detroit player drew a misconduct penalty and refused to leave the ice. Referee Mel Harwood dropped the puck for the faceoff while Wirtz was on the ice and called the too many men penalty on Grosso. Grosso got mad. All that. Jack Adams then attacked the referee, punching him in the face, following an outburst. The fans were not happy with the officiating and all that. But NHL President Frank Calder, this is before Clarence Campbell became the president, Calder suspended Adams indefinitely, meaning that Adams would not be around for the bench. In Game 5, they went back to Toronto. Abby Goodfellow would have to be the coach. Half Day still did not use Drillin or McDonald. And the Leafs somehow won 9-3 thanks to a 5-point game by Don Metz. It was amazing. The Leafs were even up 7-0 at one point. But Detroit had a chance to win the Stanley Cup on home ice. No big deal. The Wings said they would not draw penalties leading to power plays for the Leafs. No penalties were called. The good news is the Wings kept their discipline. The bad news is that the Wings choked a 1-0 lead. Sid Hell scored to make it 1-0. No, sorry. I'm talking about Game 7. Why am I thinking Game 7? But anyway, Don Metz would be the hero as the Leafs would win Game 6 via shutout thanks to Turk Broda and would now have to win Game 7. Detroit was up 1-0 on a goal by Sid Hell. However, Toronto tied the score after a penalty on Jimmy Orlando of the Red Wings. Sweeney Schreiner scored to make it 1-1. And then in the third period, with the score tied, Pete Langell scored in a goal scramble. And then Schreiner scored his second goal of the game to make it 3-1. It was amazing. Sweeney Schreiner was the hero. And it was the first time that a Canadian hockey game held over 16,000 fans. Now remember, the arenas in the old days didn't have the seating capacity and all the amenities that modern rinks have. So this was amazing. It was amazing. So the Leafs won. The Leafs lost 3-2, 4-2, and 5-2 before coming back to win 4-3, 9-3, 3-0, and 3-1, which was amazing. All that. On the Stanley Cup, for 4-2 Leafs, goalie Turk Broda, defenseman Bob Golden, Willie Buckle McDonald, Reg Hamilton, Bingo Campman, and Ernie Dickens. Boy, they didn't really have much. Defensemen. Wingers, Bob Davidson, Lauren Carr, Sweeney Schreiner, Gord Drillin, John McCready, Nick and Don Metz, Hank Goldup, and Gay Stewart. Centers were Pete Langell, Sil Apps, who was the captain, and Billy Taylor. So, anyway, the weirdest thing was that when the cup was redone from the cigar shape to the current shape it is now, Turk Broda was put on the cup twice for the 42 Leafs, as Walter Broda, his given name, and Turk Broda, his nickname. Gay Stewart, at 18 years, 9 months, 21 days old, was the youngest player to play in the Stanley Cup until Larry Hillman in 1955. That's amazing. How the Leafs pulled a rally cap and all that. It was just shocking and all that. The legendary Bill Chadwick was the referee in Game 7 of the 42 Cup Finals. My Rangers buddies would know that one. So yeah, so it's amazing. And the comeback by the Leafs would only be done 3 more times. 1975, the New York Islanders were down 3-0 in their playoff series against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And the young third-year Islanders, the plunky ones, actually managed to shock Pittsburgh. Well, Pittsburgh wasn't really that much of a good hockey team in the 70s as is, but still. And the Islanders had to go, the withdrawal, to actually win game, to actually go down 3-0 to the Flyers in the Stanley Cup semifinals, and they almost pulled it out again. They actually won games 4, 5, 6, just like against Pittsburgh, but Philly won Game 7. So, tough sledding. And basically, then you got the 2010 Philadelphia Flyers. Boston had beaten them senseless, but Philly had an overtime goal. I think it was Gagne who did it, and then Philly just picked up and all that. Game 7 was the ultimate comeback for the Flyers. They were down 3-0 in the series before Game 7, and they were down 3-0 in Game 7. But the Flyers pulled it out of the hat, and Boston took it them too many men penalty, just like 1979 when Guy Lafleur sunk the Bruins and Don Cherry's coaching career. So the Flyers came back to win that series. The Flyers ended up winning the Eastern Finals against Montreal. One of only a handful of times I actually picked one in Montreal to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. But anyway, Flyers would get their just desserts, losing in 6 games to the Blackhawks in the final. And in 2014, as I probably would think, Sharks and Kings. Little known story about the 2014 playoffs. In the first round, I do these predictions, put them on Facebook, and I made my 8 picks. One of the most shocking picks was Minnesota taking down Colorado in 2014. But the shocking thing is I was almost 8 for 8. The one series that screwed me was, you guessed it, the Sharks. They're up 3-0 on the Kings. I'm like, yes, Sharks will probably win in Game 5. I'm like, okay, then I got to wait for everything else to go forward. And then all of a sudden, the Sharks choked a 3-0 lead and were forced to Game 7. I'm like, well, they're on home ice. They'll be okay. No, they got blown out. And I'm like, fuck. How often can someone go 8 for 8 in first round picks? Not very often. So anyway, I was not too pleased. But, whatever happens, happens. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I'll do